have our first guest, Mr. Kerry King. Thank you for being here. New, not super new, but newer Dean and Dorsey. I know we've known
First guest. That's cool as shit, man.
Yeah, man. What's your composition process for riffs and solos?
It's kind of a simple answer, and it's just been the way I've done it forever. Riffs, and I've been very, very lucky with riffs in 2020. Maybe because I can't go anywhere, I don't know. But riffs have certainly not been a problem. And looking forward into the future, what that means for me is I'm going to be able to cherry pick the best stuff, and it's good stuff. I've got more than 2 records worth of music, but to be able to go through that and cherry pick the best 11 or 12, that first record should be smoking. So that part, and it's been the same forever. I just sit in a room, and I generally don't plan on making a riff up. Thought in my head is, I would love to make a riff up, but if you go in there to do that, there's too much burden and you usually just suck and nothing comes out. Just go in there and let your hands, for me, let your hands do, whatever they want to do. And you're just like, oh man, I like that. Maybe I'll record that. And then, sometimes you just get stuck in my head, and then I think of another riff or another variation of that riff, and I got to go record that. And when I actually get to it, and all these songs are on my iPhone, by the way. It's just revisiting my phone, putting riffs that are friendly with each other together, and going from there. Now, as far as leads go, throughout my career, unfortunately, being not only a songwriter but a lyricist too, by the time I get to leads, it's sometimes, I don't want to say an afterthought, it's never an afterthought, but it's at the end of the process, because a song without vocals isn't a song. We've never been an instrumental band. I mean, if you're gonna do one instrumental, sure, that's cool, but I've got to pay attention to the lyrics and make sure the lyrics are up to speed with the rest of the music, so you got an entirely great product. Then is usually when I get to have time to make up leads or work on leads. I've had some historically good ones, and I've had some historically shitty ones, I'll tell you. But it's sometimes it's just a matter of time, and time is not on my side at that point.
Sure. So you don't go in with a preconceived idea like, I got to write a riff today or I got to write a solo. You just kind of let it happen.
No, and I won't even address solos because, right now I'm the only lyricist because I'm the only one writing music, because I'm not positive who everybody is going to be playing with me is.
Right.
So, it's all on me at the moment. So actually I've got to, cherry pick those songs, pick my 10 or 12 favorites, and actually start trying to put lyrics onto those just to, move the process forward too.
Why did you choose Dean guitars?
That could be a story in itself. I mean, me and you go back well over a decade.
Oh yeah.
Me and Evan go back probably just a little less than that, because I knew Evan's dad.
Yeah.
We've been friends forever, and the timing never worked out. Every time I was up for a track, we always talked about it. And, just never materialized. So this time, the stars aligned for me and Dean to work together. And, you've known me forever, and I'm a kind of guy that I like to hang with my endorsers. I like to, I don't like it just to be business. You're my friend. I'd call you and talk smack about anything under the fucking sun besides this. And that's how I like to roll. When I come to Tampa, it's me and you and Evan, and we go out and drink. We go to Evan's house and make up names for people in the pool and do stupid shit. That's what me and my friends do. And that's how I like to act with people that endorse me. I like it to be a family. That's how Marshall was for me when Jim was alive. Everybody in Marshall, I felt like I was a Marshall. Kerry King Marshall, that's what I felt like. I was around them. And with you guys, I feel like Kerry King Dean. We're just bros making up cool axes and thinking of the next thing. And, we have ideas for some next things that I'm anxious to get going. So, for me right now, it's a great fit. It's a company that has no problem looking to the future. And, I love that everything's in-house.
Why Kahlers over Floyd?
It's a very simple answer for me. And I think for most people that have played for any amount of time, you learn on one or the other.
Yep. Yep. No,
Seriously,
I
that's
totally
it.
get that.
And my thought process when I was a kid in my late teens, and I had my first Kahler put on, I think probably the weighing factor for me was I didn't have to cut the balls off the strings. I didn't have to do any extra. I didn't have to do anything to it.
Yeah.
Just put it in, lock it, and go.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean,
but I mean, in the decades since then, I think there's been a gigantic move for Floyd because Floyd makes entry level stuff, and that was always Kahler's problem, business wise.
Sure.
So a lot of kids had access to Floyd's, so they bought Floyd style bridges, and that's what they learned on.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, if I went to Floyd right now, yeah, I can play it, but I'd have to rest my hand in a completely different position than I have for 40 years.
Right.
So it's a little bit late in the game for me to wonder about things like that. But
do you enjoy anything other than metal? I'm assuming they mean music-wise.
Yeah, I mean, my wife listens to everything. Her dad's an audiophile, so she became an audiophile inherently. And when we're out, like we'll probably be doing tonight after drinking with Dean, they'll be drinking with the wife, and it'll be like 80s rock or 60s rock. I mean, nothing too off the wall. I mean, you're
not just like metal and only metal. I mean, you're a pretty
no. I mean, I have no desire to play anything other than that. But
I mean,
listening goes, yeah. I mean, I can't listen to metal. There's only so many metal albums, and yeah, eventually I would get tired of them. If there wasn't other things to listen to, like Foghat, like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
It's still heavy. It's rock.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not metal.
Yeah. That's cool. What's your best Dimebag Darrell story? R.I.P. Of course.
A dime story? Is that one?
Yeah. What's your best Dimebag story? R.I.P.
The funniest dime story is one that I heard. I wasn't there for. When I was doing my own in-stores in like 03, 04, I'd go, and you know how I am. I just go hang out with the people that own the place, and if they want to come out and hang with me after, that's what we do. And we're getting stories and talking, having a good time, which you can't do anymore because you can't go mingle with anybody.
Yeah.
But sometime in that era when I was doing those, this story came up because Dime did an in-store at this same place, I don't know, 8 to 12 months prior, whatever it was. He was in Damage Plan already.
Sure.
Obviously. I'm trying to think of how it came up, but it was about Dime arriving at the in-store. Let me preface this by saying I told this story at Dime's. It wasn't really his wake; it was his induction into the rock.
Yeah.
Rock walk.
Yeah.
I told the story there, and Vinnie Paul didn't know it.
Oh man!
I can't believe he didn't know this. So I'm sitting here with whatever music store I'm hanging with. The guy says, "Yeah." Dime shows up. He pulls up in the limo, falls out of the car, shaking, just like, "I'm gonna get it together, man. I'm gonna get it together." And just like we've all seen Dime fucked up.
Yeah.
And the dude's all, and I just don't know if this thing's gonna happen. I don't know if I'm gonna get him out of the car, and he's just shaking on the ground, and the dude's turning around, getting on his phone, and when he's not looking, Dime gets up. He's like, "Jerked you off, didn't I?"
Oh God.
So yeah, he wasn't drunk, but yeah, I'm sure he was a few definitely a few in. But it's a fun story that a lot of people don't know. I didn't know it. And then when I told it, Vince didn't know it. So that's one of them stories that needs to get around. He was the most golden person I ever met. He's just the guy that the one thing Dime would do, he would force the party on people.
Oh, dude.
If you're around, you had to. And the difference between me and him is I don't do that. If you don't want to, I'm not forcing on anybody. And I'm not saying that was Dime's fault. That was Dime's fun.
Yeah, well, that was his way. Yeah, that old drinker where it was for real.
I got drunk on his hooch. He got drunk on my hooch, and we were closer than I think a lot of people think.
Yeah, no. Least favorite question you get asked frequently.
What was it? Least favorite question
that you get asked frequently.
I haven't been asked any in 2 years, man. So I got to really dig deep and figure this out. Um, I mean,
Like something
there's
like
a lot of
like when you're on the road, like or doing an in-store, or doing a meet and greet, something that you hear all the time that you're just like, okay, cool. I mean, I gotta be honest with you, like King, I've never seen you be rude or impatient with a fan ever. I mean, in the decade plus that I've known you. So, but there are those questions that you get all the time, and we had a lot of recurring questions even in this Instagram post that
well, it's funny. I can I can respond to that because it still happens now. And people that have no idea who the fuck I am. I don't care. I don't expect anybody to know who I am. But just your random Joe or your random Sheila will come up and say, "Hey, did that hurt?"
what hurt.
It's a fucking head tattoo.
Oh Jesus Christ!
It's like, I mean, that's just common sense, I mean, they didn't all. It wasn't all agony, but some of them were. I mean, that's just somebody breaking the ice, and I understand people don't know how to make contact, and sometimes people just want to make contact. I get it, but when you hear that question all the fucking time, that's one of my least favorites.
If you could play on stage with a musician, past or present, doesn't matter if they are alive or dead, who would it be?
And my idol, who is still alive, is Rob Halford, good friend of mine, and he is the fucking metal god.
Yes, he is.
Somebody sent me last week a picture. I don't know where, probably on Instagram or something. I don't have Instagram or anything, but him, Rob Halford, wearing a Slayer shirt. I'm like, man, that is. If you told me that was going to happen when I got British Steel, I would have said, "Who the fuck? What are you talking about, man?" And my idol loves my band and he supports it. How can anything be better than that?
Yeah, that's huge, man. I mean,
realistically, you can't just stop there though, because I mean, I was lucky enough to play on stage with Dime a number of times. But dude, I would love to have played on stage with Dio. I never got the opportunity to do that.
Hey, Mr. King, metal sign. What's your favorite Slayer album and why?
It's difficult.
I know,
especially
that's such a deep catalog.
Being so involved with all the music on all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to reference Rain and Blood. I've got to reference the Rain and Blood album because everybody, around the world, magazine-wise, periodical-wise, has said, I've heard that's the greatest thrash record of all time a number of times.
Yeah, I got
to give that one respect.
That's the fucking Lisa thrash.
I'm very proud of Repentless because I think a lot of people, once Jeff passed on, kind of thought we were going to fold, and we just came out and fucking crushed your face with that one.
Yeah.
So that was very important to me. And another one, the same situation, was God Hates Us All, because we were kind of floating without any direction in the 90s, and the music that was popular irritated the shit out of me, and I didn't understand why it was popular, and I let that get to me. And that was the only time historically I ever did, and God Hates Us All was the beginning of my saying, fuck you, I know what I'm here to do, let's do it.
Funny. Are your chains metal or plastic?
Well, one of the reasons I did the chain drop at the last show was so everybody in the building could hear it. And it wasn't something I'd planned historically, It's just we were doing the last run, and I said, I want to do this on the last Forum show so people take it more serious. Like, King took off his chains. He left them on the stage. What the fuck, man? So people hopefully got that this isn't one of those, we're going to be back next year, coming back and do it again. It was, the chains took me through Slayer. I took them off, dropped them on the stage, and I walked off, and that was the end of Slayer for me. And it's funny, dude.
So they're totally metal. There's no plastic chains on Kerry King.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they're heavy as fuck.
Favorite band other than yours?
Fat Judas Priest. Has been historically, they had a questionable period or two, but I mean, Halford's my hero. He's still my favorite singer ever. And he still belts it out. They came back with firepower and showed everybody that they weren't done yet.
Yeah.
And beyond that, dude, fucking, I think mine and Hull, both of our favorite Priest record is Stained Class.
Yep. Great record.
And, you know, yeah, Stained Class, Sad Wings, Hellbent for Leather. There's just untouchable shit back then.
Yep.
You know, and then they got some popularity, and Defenders of a Faith is, it's one of my favorite albums, you know, and I kind of wrote it off back then because it wasn't as heavy as I liked their stuff to be. But when I got reintroduced to it, I went, you know, this is a great record.
Yeah.
Painkiller's a great record. Firepower is shocked the shit out of me. I wanted it to be great. I didn't expect it to be great. And I think it's pretty great.
Did you ever get severely hurt during a Slayer concert? 'Cause I know you guys got a lot of fire and a lot of shit.
Well, I'm smart enough to stay away from the fire, but we didn't have that till the latter part of our career. And it was generally behind us. I think the last year or two, we had it in the front.
So you never fallen off the stage?
So if it's behind us, just stay away from the amp line.
Well, listen, man. Well, King, man, I can't thank you enough. I mean, as a friend and as a guitar company to a very important artist of ours and an endorser. I mean, thank you for taking the time with us for this first deal. I know you're in Vegas having a quarantine lockdown, Willie, and hopefully, thank you for having some drinks with us and answering these questions. I know these guys, they really want to hear some of this stuff and know what your answers are. And thank you for doing that.
I'm proud of what we accomplished, man. Cheers to us.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait, dude. And thank you. And hopefully we get together in person and get the cheers sooner than later.
Yeah, cheers to all Slayer fans, Kerry King fans, Dean fans. Thanks for checking us out. And shit, I didn't realize this was the first one. Let's do it again.
Yeah, man. All right, man. Be careful. I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Later.